The left will tell a lie. We're feeding kids when they're not, when they're just shaking down the taxpayer. And then when you tell the truth, they call you a racist.
During a House hearing, Jim Jordan handed the floor to Minnesota state lawmakers who laid out what's really been happening with the massive fraud, exposing Walz's administration in the process. And today, we're covering it all. So if you believe truth isn't partisan, hit the subscribe button and let's jump right into it. Oh, and by the way, this video is sponsored by Aura. More on that later.
I'm going to go to this meeting that took place, or actually I want to go to March 30th, 2021. Is it true back in March of 2021, the Minnesota Department of Education suspended payments to Feeding Our Future, that program? Is that right?
I believe that's correct.
And then a month later, they resumed payments.
That's correct.
What caused them to change their mind?
In my opinion, what caused them to change their mind was pushback from their constituency within the Somali community who accused the state agencies of being racist.
But what caused them to stop it in the first place? Was it whistleblowers coming forward? Was it like this something's not right here? What happened?
Apologize for the misunderstanding. The reason they stopped the funds in the first place is because they had credible allegations that there was fraud taking place.
From whistleblowers and others.
Correct.
And just they're doing their job looking, this doesn't make sense. We got all these programs, no one's getting fed, and yet money's going out the door like crazy. So they suspended it. And then they started it back up, right? Was there any threat of a lawsuit from the Somali community and folks affiliated with Feeding Our Future?
Mr. Jordan, there was more than a threat. They actually did it.
They did? And what was the alleged claim in that lawsuit?
That they were victims of racial discrimination.
Oh, they played the race card, huh?
They absolutely did. You've probably heard about the lawsuit by now, but here's what's actually happened. And this is all based on a detailed report from Minnesota's Office of the Legislative Auditor. Feeding Our Future was created in 2016 as a sponsor for child and adult care food programs. Over the next few years, it received approval and funding to process applications for federal meal reimbursements. Problems started when the Minnesota Department of Education began receiving complaints, where audits uncovered serious issues, including poor accounting controls and shady practices. As a result, the department stopped payments. Feeding Our Future responded by suing the state, claiming, quote, racial discrimination. Under pressure, the MDE reached an agreement that allowed payments to resume. But in April 2021, the department alerted the FBI, stating that, quote, Feeding Our Future and its affiliate sites were diverting taxpayer funds meant for child nutrition programs. Now, this didn't happen in a vacuum, as the state leadership played a role in how this unfolded. And Jim brought up what's next. But before we get to that, quick message from today's sponsor. Cybercrime and identity theft aren't just increasing. They're becoming a billion-dollar industry. And the ones making money off it are data brokers. Now, these companies scoop up everything about you. I'm talking about your name, your home address, your email, even your entire online footprint, and then they sell it off to whoever's willing to pay. That's the part most people never see, and where Aura comes in. You see, Aura doesn't just warn you after the damage is done. It actively goes after the data brokers selling your information and forces them to delete it. And while other companies might offer bits and pieces of protection, nobody goes as far as Aura. You get alerts if your info hits the dark web, real-time bank and credit monitoring, fraud notifications, a secure VPN, and get this, actual US-based human support available 24/7. Isn't that awesome? And here's something else that I really like, because not a lot of companies do this. Aura includes a $5 million in identity theft-backed insurance, backed by a strong team of U.S. fraud experts ready to help you around the clock. I use Aura myself, not just because of the topics I cover in today's political climate, but because staying ahead really matters. So why not protect yourself too? You can head over to aura.com/mentor, which you'll find in the description, and benefit from a 14-day free trial. Now, in those 2 weeks, Aura is going to help you get back control of your data. I'm not leaving myself vulnerable, and you shouldn't either. Now, back to the video.
Now, when I talked about not just overlooking it, there was a meeting that took place between the Attorney General and affiliates of Feeding Our Future. Is that right?
That is correct.
And what happened at that meeting? Do we know?
Yeah, we do, because we have it on tape. There was an audio recording made at that meeting that was entered into evidence in the Feeding Our Future trial, and it was later revealed through work from Center of the American Experiment, the full recording. And my observations of what took place in that meeting was that Attorney General Keith Ellison was focused on one thing and one thing only, and that was keeping these folks in business. There were no questions that he asked of these folks about how the kids are doing, the operation, how they're getting fed, who's being helped. Instead, the focus was entirely on ensuring that the money continues to flow. And I'll add that he went so far as to say that he was going to fight these people in reference to the state agencies. The state agencies are his client.
Yeah, and when you said money's going to flow, did money flow to Mr. Ellison's campaign a couple weeks later from some of the folks who were in that meeting?
Sure did.
How much, do we know how much that was?
I do not have that number.
According to the New York Post, that number is $10,000 in campaign donations from individuals who would later be convicted for their role in the scam. The AG spokesperson pushed back, saying, quote, had no way of knowing these people were connected to the FBI's investigation when he accepted their campaign contributions. But it doesn't end there, because when the scandal first broke, Waltz claimed, quote, was verbally briefed about suspicious activity in the program in late April or early May of 2020. He later walked that back, saying, quote, I misspoke, and he found out when the MDE alerted federal authorities, which was nearly a year later. Those two timelines don't really match. At this point, it's clear Minnesota's state leadership hasn't been fully transparent, and that lack of clarity is only raising more questions.
And this fraud is much bigger than this, because as I look, it's like 6 different federal agencies. Department of Homeland Security, Health and Human Services, Small Business Association, Housing Urban Development, Department of Labor, Department of Agriculture. In this program and a bunch of others, they were shaking down the entire federal government, it looked like. 6 different federal agencies. I think you pointed out, over the last 15 years.
That's correct.
And not only are the Democrat administration overlooking it, they're helping it along. They're assisting it. They're going after whistleblowers, as your colleague pointed out, and they're benefiting from all this politically with contributions to their campaign. Not to mention the voting issue that you referenced earlier as well. Is that all accurate?
I believe so.
Oh, now there's more than 6 agencies involved. There's 6 federal agencies that got shaken down, but there's 2 other agencies involved now, the FBI and the DOJ. Right? How many people have been indicted now?
I do not have that number in front of me, but it's significant.
It helps to lay out the raw numbers, because this goes far beyond a single program. When it comes to feeding our future, the case now, quote, includes upward of 75 defendants, with many of them already convicted. Then there's also a separate housing program fraud, where federal prosecutors have charged 8 people so far. On top of that, there's the autism services fraud, and one of the defendants in this case, quote, Asha Farhan Hassan, is also being charged as part of the Feeding Our Future scheme. When you stack all of these together, the scale becomes impossible to ignore. Now, after laying this out, Jim gave the floor to Minnesota state lawmakers. They made it clear this wasn't some hidden issue, but state authorities dragged their feet instead of acting quickly.
But have you ever seen anything like this in your time in the I've never seen anything like this in an agency. Ms. Robbins, you're the chair.
No, sir, we have never seen anything on this scale. It is unbelievable. As Joe Thompson said, it is breathtaking and cannot be overstated.
Yeah, well, God bless you all. Ms. Rankin, or Ms. Rarick, excuse me, I'll give you the last word.
Thank you. So I've been there since 2013, and I have been yelled at by Democrats over and over again throughout our time there to say that there is no fraud, this is just made up.
Yeah, this is the template. You see this all the time. The left will tell a lie. We're feeding kids when they're not, when they're just shaking down the taxpayer. The left will tell the lie. The media will report the lie or not report when the truth comes out. And then when you tell the truth, they call you racist. It's as old as time. We see it all the time. This is so wrong. God bless you all for coming forward and getting the facts to the people of Minnesota, and more importantly, to the people of this great country. I yield back.
The bottom line is this shouldn't be partisan at all. Fraud on this scale is just burning taxpayer money. It's happening across multiple states because our welfare system has grown massive and poorly monitored. Now, the good news is that real accountability is finally starting. And for once, it looks like those guilty might end up behind bars. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on this story. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember, keep thinking.